Greetings, fellow interlopers. Welcome to Whiskey Barrel Gaming. There seems to be a common feeling that No Man's Sky players experience after many hours of gameplay. I see one particular question asked all the time by the most seasoned traveler who have traversed the multiverse with hundreds if not thousands of hours of gameplay. What do I do now? Or a more long-winded version of the question is, I've maxed out my units and nanites, I've seen all the types of planets, I've finished the expeditions and storylines, my ship's S-Class, my multi-tool is S-Class, my freighter is S-Class, and now I'm not really sure what to do next. Well, let me state the obvious here. Ordinarily, a person would just move on and play something else. Yet, something keeps pulling them back. Now that's a resounding testament of the love that someone has for a game that's nearly 10 years old. So let me answer a question with a question. Have you really done all there is to do in No Man's Sky? So here are 5 things that should really test the level of your, how should I put it, completionist mentality.
Is that even a word?
Coming in at number 5 is an achievement that puts you in touch with your craftsy side. Sure, you can craft some liquid explosives or maybe some living glass, but have you managed to craft the granddaddy of them all? You know it. You love it. The stasis device. And each one sells for 15.6 million units each. And yeah, I know, I'm leaving out the fusion igniter, but let's keep it simple, shall we? The stasis device requires 15 different ingredients, so here's a quick rundown. 300 frost crystal, 200 selenium, 100 cactus flesh, 200 star bulb, 500 sulfurine, 300 condensed carbon, 500 nitrogen, 500 radon, 50 fecium, 400 gamma root, 50 paraffinium, 150 iodized cobalt, 50 phosphorus, and 50 dioxide. So let's say you have all the needed ingredients. From here, you need to make 1 heat capacitor, 1 polyfiber, 2 thermic condensates, 2 nitrogen salts, 2 enriched carbons, 1 lubricant, 1 glass, 1 auronium, 1 magnogold, 1 grantine. Now the next round of crafting will have you make 1 circuit board, 1 semiconductor, 1 living glass, 1 hot ice, and 1 iridescent. Hang in there, we're almost done. Combine 1 of the enriched carbons with the semiconductor and you get a superconductor. The hot ice and 1 of the thermic condensates will give us a cryopump. Now that cryopump with a living glass will produce a cryogenic chamber. The circuit board combined with the superconductor will make a quantum processor. And there you go, down to the final 3 components to make the elusive stasis device. If you're dying to make one for yourself but don't relish the thought of having to round up all the components, here's a few tips to make it go a little faster. Send your frigates out on exploratory missions. There's a high probability that they return with higher tier items that you don't even need to worry about crafting. This will save you some time. With regards to items like frost crystal, selenium, star bulb, and cactus flesh, you can actually refine these using oxygen and another element you might have already. If you're curious about that, I'll leave a link to another video about how I think oxygen's probably the most versatile ingredient in the game. Lastly, a few tips about gases in the event you don't have any bases built on hotspots. When you throw radon in the refiner, you'll get nitrogen. And if you throw nitrogen in the refiner, you'll get sulfurine. And then in turn, sulfurine will give you radon. So hopefully these tips will make it easier for you to craft a stasis device. Number 4 is all about collecting multi-tools. Including the starter variant, there are 6 others to discover. The first variety are alien multi-tools. These can come in either rifle or pistol form. There's also experimental multi-tools, which also come as a rifle or a pistol. These randomly spawn into cabinets at space stations or minor settlements. And whether or not you find them is actually RNG, but these next few actually have a specific way of obtaining them. The first one is an Atlantid multi-tool. For these, you need to be in a dissonant system and on a dissonant planet in a Corvax system. Very important. Now locate a monolith. I like to just call in one of my exocrafts and use the radar. Once there, you can see there's a little pink glow, and once you approach it, you'll get an alternate interface. Now just donate 48 Atlantidium and you'll get a look at what could be your next Atlantid multi-tool. The next up is a Royal multi-tool. For these, you'll need to locate a Sentinel pillar, which will appear after you've defeated the final wave of Sentinels. That's the one that has the Walker. So just find an aggressive Sentinel planet and you'll make finding these guys easier. Now just head to the terminal and extract weapons technology. Hopefully you get a Royal multi-tool and not just a plain Jane variety. If you don't, then just keep on searching those Sentinel pillars. As you guys know by now, it's just a random numbers game. The next type of multi-tool are Sentinel multi-tools, and these are found at harmonic camps. To find a harmonic camp, you need to have an echo locator, which can be farmed from these guys here, dissonant resonators. More times than not, you'll probably get an inverted mirror, but these will drop echolocators, so keep farming. Now head to the camp and find the main terminal. After solving the 3 simple math problems, enter the 3 numbers and select the option to unseal the multi-tool cabinet. Now you're free to check out the Sentinel multi-tool, which can come in either a rifle or a pistol variety. Lastly, there's the often overlooked version of the multi-tool, the staff. These actually have to be assembled. But first and foremost, you need to have done a few things before this even becomes an option for you. First, make sure to complete the main Artemis and Apollo storyline. It wouldn't make sense for the autophage portion of the game to unlock before you do this. Secondly, if you've started the settlement section of the game, then you need to have the Trace of Metal storyline finished. Lastly, you need to have discovered a harmonic camp, which we just went over. With those out of the way, you should be on your way to follow the autophage questline and assemble your staff. So if you have managed to collect every single version of multi-tool, you can check it off the list, and let's move on to number 3. With the introduction of the Worlds update, the in-game water has become alive with a staggering variety of fish to catch. You care to take a guess on how many varieties there are? Take a guess, I'll wait. Okay, well, there happens to be 219 different things to catch. Some ranging from the uncommon, like the longjaw snapper, to a legendary catch, like a dragonfish. So take a look at your catalog to see how you stack up. Odds are that your uncaught fish outnumber the ones you've actually recorded. This is no small feat, and I wish you the best of luck if you're looking to cross every item off the list. On to number 2 is having a completely full frigate fleet. Frigates are those smaller ships. They have little green icons, which means they're purchasable. They trail freighters around various systems. They can specialize in a variety of areas, matching the types of expeditions you send them out on. For instance, I referenced the exploration-based expeditions earlier. So naturally, you would want to have a frigate which specializes in exploration to obtain the best possible results. It's always good to have a few from each area so you can be ready for whichever types of expeditions are available at any given time. And if you happen to have a completely full fleet, well, congrats, you can cross another off the list, and that brings us to number 1. Since the heart and soul of this game is about exploration, let's talk about frequent flyer miles. Bouncing around Euclid is all fine and dandy, and I'm sure you could spend the rest of your life and never have come close to visiting every system. But what about the other 254 galaxies out there? So yeah, number 1 is having a base in every galaxy in the game. And no, I'm not counting the defunct Galaxy 256, but sure, if you know somebody who has a base in 256, might as well put a cherry on top. So how did you stack up in the challenge? Are there any master interlopers among us? Or maybe you ticked off 1 or 2? Sound off in the comments and let me know where you stand. As always, thanks for checking out Whiskey Barrel Gaming, folks. Have an S-Class day.